The first time I saw that car, it was sitting crooked on the corner of a half-abandoned lot. Weeds crawling up around the tires like it was being swallowed whole. A beat-up 1965 Mustang Rust, eating through the doors, paint peeling in flakes that stuck to your fingers if you touched it. And right there in the windshield, a sign written in shaky marker, $600. Runs needs work. To most people, it was just a pile of scrap metal. But to me, it looked like hope. A slim chance to give my little girl something she could hold her head up about. See, my name's Marcus Reed. I've been a mechanic since I was 16, the kind of guy who spent more time under the hood of other people's cars than behind the wheel of my own. But money was always tight. Rent late lights threatening to shut off a fridge with more air than food. My 12-year-old daughter Naomi was the one thing that kept me moving, but even she couldn't hide how heavy it all was getting. Every afternoon, she dragged herself off the school bus. Shoulders, slumped backpack, patched more times than I cared to admit. I'd hear the kids snickering, whispering things like, "Her dad's broke, always walking, always struggling." And I'd smile at her anyway, though inside it felt like someone was tightening a vice around my chest. That night, lying on my couch in a one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint and pipes that groaned louder than I did after a double shift, I couldn't get the picture out of my head. Naomi stepping off that bus face, lowered laughter stolen by the weight of being poor. And then, I saw the Mustang again in my mind, the way she might glow climbing out of it, how those same kids would stop laughing, maybe even stare with a little envy. I didn't sleep much. I kept running circles in my head, rent, groceries, or dignity. By sunrise, the decision was made. When I showed up at the lot, the man leaning against the car looked like he'd been carved out of weathered oak. His name was Henry Lawson, older guy, with eyes that had seen too many winters. He sized me up as I counted out every crumpled bill I had. $600, everything I owned in that moment. His brow furrowed, voice low. "You sure about this?" I swallowed hard, nodded. "Yeah, I'm sure." No more words. Just the sound of the keys landing in my palm, heavier than gold, heavier than fear. Driving that Mustang home was like coaxing an old man out of bed on a cold morning. The engine coughed, rattled, wheezed, but it moved. When Naomi stepped outside and saw it, she froze, eyes wide, lips parted. Then came a whisper, "Wow." The kind of wow I hadn't heard in years. She ran her fingers along the chipped paint as if it were a crown jewel. And when she turned and hugged me so tight, I thought my ribs might crack. Every laugh, every cruel word from the neighborhood melted away. But neighbors always got something to say. From the porch across the street came chuckles. Reed lost his mind. Can't even pay rent but bought junk on wheels. Another voice sharper. He'll be begging for handouts by next week. I clenched my jaw, but I didn't respond. Because right then, Naomi was smiling so bright it made the rust disappear. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I wasn't failing her. The Mustang wasn't pretty. Doors moaned, seats smelled of mildew, exhaust spit smoke like it had asthma. But Naomi saw magic. The first morning I dropped her off at school, I swear the air shifted. Kids who usually ignored her stopped, eyes glued to the car. She stepped out with her chin lifted, her sneakers scraping pavement with a rhythm that said, "I belong." I sat back in the driver's seat watching. That smile was worth every dollar I didn't have. Still whispers followed me everywhere. At the barbershop, two guys leaning against the glass muttered, "Look at that rust bucket. Bet he's behind on rent again." Their laughter trailed me like a shadow. But I'd learned long ago, you can't let folks who've never carried your burdens tell you how to walk. Every night I'd be under that hood, sleeves rolled up, knuckles busted, while Naomi sat in the passenger seat with a book humming to herself just to be near me. Sometimes the engine would cough to life, and her clapping made the whole block sound like a stadium. I'd wipe sweat from my brow and whisper, "One day, baby girl. One day." What I didn't know was that Henry, the man who sold me the car, had been driving by every so often. At first just curious. Then, he started parking nearby, watching me fight with that Mustang under a flickering streetlight. He saw Naomi waiting patiently, saw how her laughter bounced off cracked sidewalks, how I never gave up even when the car seemed determined to die. To most, it was just a junkyard relic, but to us, it was a shield against a world that wouldn't stop reminding us what we lacked. Then came the morning that broke me. I stepped outside, lunch pail in one hand, keys in the other, and the driveway was empty. No Mustang, just oil stains on cracked concrete. My heart slammed against my ribs. I looked left, right, nothing. Neighbors whispered, "Guess the junk finally gave out." Another added, "Tow truck must have hauled his pride away." Their words stabbed deeper than they knew. I walked blocks, scanning every corner, palms sweaty, thoughts spiraling. How was I going to tell Naomi? How was I going to face her eyes when hope had been ripped away again? I was halfway back, chest tight, when I heard it. Not the rattling cough I knew, but a smooth purr, steady as a heartbeat. I turned and froze. Down the street came a Mustang, not rusted, not wheezing, but shining. Chrome glinting fresh paint catching the sun tires new and bold. It rolled up like it remembered every mile it was born for. And Naomi from the porch whispered, "Daddy, it's beautiful." The car stopped at the curb. Out stepped Henry, not with a speech, not with fanfare, just holding a manila envelope and a spare set of keys. He looked me straight in the eye and said quietly, "I took her this morning. Called in a few favors at my shop. New belts, new plugs, brakes, fixed tires, replaced upholstery, stitched paint restored. She's yours now. Title's in here, insurance for the month too." My throat tightened as he handed me the envelope. He added, "I've been watching you. You don't quit. You fix what others throw away. I could use a man like you. Trial week at my garage starts Monday, not charity work." My knees almost buckled. I laid my hand on that fender metal warm beneath my palm, and for the first time in years, I felt the weight lift. Naomi bounced beside me, hands over her mouth, trying not to squeal. From across the street came voices, disbelief turning to envy. "Yo, is that the same ride? Nah, that's clean. Must be nice." I didn't look up. I was too busy memorizing the smell of fuel, the tick of cooling metal, the way hope sounded when it idled smooth. I slid behind the wheel, Naomi climbing in beside me. My fingers trembled as I turned the key. The engine answered with a confident hum. No rattle, no prayer, just readiness. On my lap, the envelope sat like a quiet miracle: title, insurance, and a job that meant dinners without counting coins, school shoes without apologies, weekends not drowned in dread. We eased down the street, neighbors staring, some nodding, some silent. One kid even saluted and mouthed, "Nice." Naomi waved back, her grin wide enough to fill the whole block. At the corner, I stopped, glanced at the horizon where Henry's shop sat waiting. I thought about rust and ridicule, about nights lit by a dying streetlight, about how close I'd been to giving up. And I whispered almost to myself, "What's up, new life?" Then I turned the wheel, steady, sure, with my daughter's laughter filling the car, and hope buckled into the back seat. Funny thing is, some folks still say I was reckless throwing money at a dream when bills were late. Others say Henry gave me a handout I didn't deserve. But maybe they missed the point. Maybe it wasn't about a car at all. Maybe it was about a father showing his daughter that even in the ugliest of places, beauty can be rebuilt, pride can be restored, and dignity is worth every risk. So let me ask you, what do you think? Was I foolish for gambling everything on a rusted Mustang? Or was it the only way to show Naomi that sometimes love looks like sacrifice and faith looks like turning junk into joy? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your stories, your truths. And if this one moved, you share it with someone who needs reminding that hope can roar louder than doubt.